Play How can the Lakers transform into a super team? 312 Kevin Pelton outlines a plan for the Lakers to add LeBron James, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard this offseason. 3 to 128:27 a.m. at Cole. The LA Lakers build a new big three of LeBron James, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard this summer. That's the kind of star-studded scenario Lakers fans have dreamed about since last making the playoffs 5 years ago, and that the rest of the NBA has feared. While it's a long shot, such a partnership is possible if the players involved really want it. Let's run through the possibilities, and the challenges. How the Lakers could make it work financially. Lakers signing George and James, both of whom can become unrestricted free agents if they decline 2018-19 player options, is easy enough. They can create sufficient cap room merely by waiving forward Luol Deng and stretching his contract, then renouncing the rights to their free agents. Adding Leonard to the mix makes the math trickier, even before we account for the fact that Help's still under contract with the San Antonio Spurs, who would have to sign off on a trade. More on that in a bit, though Leonard is making substantially less than the current max salary at $20.1 million for 2018-19, combining his salary with max ones for LeBron an estimated $35.4 million and George estimated $30.3 million because he's 2 years shy of the experience necessary for the largest max bracket for players with 10-plus years in the league, puts the Lakers over $85 million in salary without considering any other players or the remaining amount of Deng's stretched salary. That tight math makes it all but imperative the Lakers send Deng to San Antonio in a Leonard trade before signing George and James. How might that work? Kawhi must ask for a trade to LA. Timing is the biggest challenge to the Lakers pulling off a big three this summer. Any trade they make for a high-paid veteran like Leonard assuredly needs to be done before they sign free agents, because otherwise they'll already have waived Deng and be unable to include him as matching salary in a trade. Fans around the NBA have put up billboards to woo LeBron James. What would it look like if all 30 teams did the same? See for yourself. Trade discussions could heat up if the Spurs and Leonard can't agree on a new contract. Our NBA insiders give 7 deals that work. As ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported Wednesday, the Spurs and Leonard plan to meet sooner rather than later to discuss his future in San Antonio and a possible super maximum designated veteran extension worth an estimated $219 million. If that offer doesn't come, or if Leonard wants out anyway, he'd have to inform the Spurs quickly that they should trade him, and, in this scenario, that he'd be willing to re-sign only with the Lakers, limiting his value to other teams. Presumably, a Lakers package would be built around one of the last 2 number 2 overall picks, either Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram. Just how realistic a Leonard trade is depends in large part on how San Antonio values those 2 developing prospects. From a financial perspective, including Ball gives the Lakers slightly more flexibility because he'll count $7.5 million against the cap next compared to Ingram's $5.8 million. Sending back Ball or Ingram alone probably wouldn't get a deal done with the Spurs. Since Deng must be included in this version of a deal, the Lakers are going to need to add more value. That could mean parting with all-rookie first-team pick Kyle Kuzma, whose ability to create shots is less valuable on a team with 3 superstars. Let's say the Spurs are willing to do Ball, Deng and Kuzma for Leonard, pivoting to a younger roster built around the 2 second-year players plus point guard DeJounte Murray. As I outlined in our roundup of Leonard trade possibilities, the 2 teams could make that trade now by including the Orlando Magic or another team with cap space or a trade exception of sufficient size to take on Joffrey Lauvergne's salary for matching purposes. Who would the Lakers have around the big three? Assuming the cap comes in as projected at $101 million and both James and George sign for the max, making the trade outlined here for Leonard would leave the Lakers with just 6 players under contract, a new big three, Ingram, 3 and D-wing Josh Hart and this year's first-round pick via the Cleveland Cavaliers number 25 overall. The Lakers also have the 47th overall pick in the second round. So, needless to say, the Lakers would have a lot of work to do filling out their roster and only the room mid-level exception projected at $4.4 million to offer free agents more than the veterans' minimum. The good news is their superstars would give them incredible flexibility. I'd envision the Lakers starting Ingram at point guard, a role he filled at times last when Ball was injured, and having him share playmaking responsibilities with the newcomers. That would produce a lineup with a 6'7" Leonard as its shortest player, offering tremendous defensive flexibility and the ability to switch nearly any screen. While all four players would perhaps be considered small forwards in a vacuum, all have the ability to defend any position 1 to 4. The Lakers would want a center capable of fitting in with a switching defense, which might lead them to pursue Nerlens Noel with a room mid-level. Noel, a client of the agency run by LeBron associate Rich Paul Clutch Sports Group, might not get much larger offers than $4.4 million this summer, and the Lakers have shown interest in the past. Wojnarowski reported last winter that they had initial discussions with the Dallas Mavericks on swapping Julius Randle, whose rights the Lakers would have to forfeit to clear cap space, for Noel. To fill out the bench, the Lakers would be relying on veterans taking discounts to play in LA and have a chance to contend. This is the summer to do that, however, with limited cap space available around the league. The Lakers would also benefit from the ability to keep at least one All-Star on the court at all times, similar to what the Warriors have done after adding Kevin Durant. This hypothetical becoming reality is contingent on the players involved, and the Spurs. George and James are free to sign anywhere, and Leonard may prefer to wait out the possibility of the Supermax in San Antonio than to try to return to Southern California. And even if Leonard asks out and tries to force his way to LA, the Spurs could always call his bluff and keep him or trade him to another team willing to gamble on re-signing Leonard, as the Oklahoma City Thunder did trading for George a year ago. Still, there is a realistic path to the Lakers creating a big three this summer.